Elden Ring is really turning painful. In fact, all the areas I have to go to is now just pain, pain, pain. So all that said, the royal capital, I used to complain on it, looking pretty good now. Welcome back, classy crew, to my Elden Ring journey as I traverse through Elden Ring on a quest to slay all bosses and document my journey here. Last week I left off on, I'm heading into the Volcano Manor, it's gonna be a good time. And then I had to nope my way out of there pretty hard. So instead, I spent most of my time in Leyndell, the royal capital, again. But I have to say, I have some nice things to say about it. I think I discovered the nice parts of the capital. I actually encountered bosses, good bosses, fantastic bosses. I uncovered some lore. I uncovered some freaking fantastic weapons. So for everything that I've pretty much hated on the last time, I think I just was lost. And I did share that in my criticism of Leyndell. I said, I'm sure there's some good stuff in this city. There has to be. I just haven't found it yet. But in proper journal format, I gotta walk you through chronologically as to what the journey was. So let's start in Volcano Manor. What happened there? I mean, there was so much pain. Last time, I just discovered a katana. I got a new whip, so I can dual whip. I was like, all right, new area, new weapons, let's go. So I went out with my katana, so excited. I went to whooshy whoosh, and then there was no health, like no damage being done with it. So I was like, ooh, this hurts. And every monster was hurting me really bad, and my katana was pretty much useless. Now, I did not upgrade it all the way because I ran out of smithing stones level 4. And so it was a little bit nerfed in the sense that maybe it needs to be higher level. So quickly switched out to the whips.
That didn't really help out in this area either.
So I literally spent like 20 minutes. I was dying in there so much. I'm like, I'm out. So I was like, all right, let's go check up on Rennie and see what's going on there. So it didn't move the quest forward. She was all like, oh, good, you got it. Great. Now I can go on my dark path and do some stuff. I was like, but she gave me a carrion inverted statue, which instantly I was like, oh, this lets us go to the tower that I can inverse because I couldn't get up there before. So I'm talking about the carrion study hall. So I was excited because now a new path opened up. So I went to the hall, put the sand glass on there, reversed the tower, and instantly got molested by some frickin' hairy hands. So this tower, I underestimated it because I went up the tower like many levels ago, many streams ago, and I figured, oh, it's the same tower. We're just flipping it. How hard can it be? Oh, man, what? The hands were okay because now I was using my double whips, and then I had a fire whip, and they're weak to fire whips because they would just like burn and like, but there was a mage amongst them, and he was the worst because he was just sniping me from afar, and he was so annoying, and he was hurting me a lot with his spells. So I died a ton of times to either that mage or his hand crew. But eventually I did make it through. Made it to the foothill of the Divine Tower of Lernia. So I'm like, oh, this must be the tower for Rennie because every demigod gets its own tower. And on my way there, I came across a Godskin Noble, a big chunky boy. Oh, I gotta say, when I see a big chunky boy coming at me, like I instantly smile. I just love the design and the mechanics of a chunky boy. They're just pleasant to fight, and this one was no exception. He even like leans into his chunky status and rolls. He's like, puff. First, he can actually hit you by puffing, which is insulting. Then he rolls around. I'm just like, what's happening here? What am I doing? And he's just rolling, and then I think he comes out of it with an attack. I don't think that ever landed on me. But yeah, he killed me a few times. For the most part, it was a fun fight. He had the cool like white fire thing going. He had the disgusting face flaps, so I didn't like that he's covered in skin, but it's how Godskins roll. Yeah. But anyways, the Godskin Noble fell. I was able to get into the tower, and there I found Ranni's corpse, and I got a little bit of lore. I also picked up the Curse Mark of Death, which looks pretty important to this whole story. Don't know what it is, but I learned that Ranni is either a twin or was fighting a twin, or that anyway, there were two people that were fighting, from what I understand. One of them lost their body, which I assume is Ranni because her corpse is there, and the other one lost their soul, and I don't know who that is, but that tells me that there is a body of some kind somewhere. And now I know a lot of you are probably going to call me out for not understanding lore. That's fair. You can call me out all you like. I am slowly learning and trying to absorb what the heck's going on in this world. So with that chapter closed, I was like, okay, where next to? Gargoyles in the Aqueduct? No. Again, Kayla? No. So I guess that leaves me with, and the manor, we're not doing the manor. So I went back to the royal capital, Leyndell. I was like, let's give this a second chance. Maybe there's going to be some good stuff in here. And actually, it was the gargoyles. I was like, I'm not going to do 2 gargoyles at the aqueduct. but I know a place where I can beat up on one gargoyle, and I'm pretty confident I can kill a gargoyle now. Where's my potion? So I went to the city just to spank a gargoyle, and spank him I did. And I didn't even realize he was guarding the pathway to a tree. And this tree kind of takes you up the city, like it's a route. And I was like, oh, that's clearly a path. And so I went up there and there was a Colosseum. I killed some gladiators, and then I kept making my way up, and boom, boss time. Godfrey, first Elden Lord. I was like, that's pretty important. Isn't this the dad of all these demigods I'm slaying? So yeah, I was not expecting such an important fight, not even being prefaced with a cutscene. It's just you walk into this boy's room and he's like, hey, it's Godfrey, I'm here to smack you. And a fun fight that was. He smacked me too pretty hard. He hits hard, he winds up hard, but like he's not chunky this way. He's like chunky on the chest. So like, you know, but chunky boy with hard attacks like a knight. I like those bosses too. So this was a fun one. Had fun figuring out his pattern. Slayed him, and then tippy-toed a little bit more north where I found Morgot, the Omen King, or I don't know if this is like, yeah, I think this is the true identity of Morgot. And I didn't even realize there were different names until I did a Google search of my previous video. I was like, oh, why did I call him Morgot? I'm an idiot. And then I was like, wait, is it Morgot or Morgot? And they're like, it's the same person. And so I don't know why he's using two names. It'd be like if I called myself, like one personality was Jason and then the other one was Justin. Why would you make your other identity so close to your first one? Like, if anything, I should call myself Dave or something. But anyways, so Morgot was there, and he was way more critical to the lore that I thought. Like I can't say I grasped it all again, but like the fact that it sounds like he's the last guardian preventing the Tarnished from getting the Elden Ring, because whatever, we're trying to get into this tree, the Erd tree, and he's the last guardian. But at the same time, it sounds like he wants to go in the tree, and he's like, I can't get in because the roots. And I'm like, well, we could work together. But then he doesn't want to because he'd rather kill. Super fun fight. I said Morgot was such a fantastic fight. He was my first wall in the game. And here with Morgot, it's taken to the next level. And I say it's a great fight in the sense that it's a dance. I say this Monster Hunter and I say it again for Morgot. It's a dance because the intensity and the speed is so fast. You have your opening to dodge and you have your opening to stab. And you can say that all the fights are like that. But I feel with this fight, it's done in such a fluid way. That's why it feels like a dance. When Morgot attacks you, he's coming at you fast with a lot of moves, and that's your key of like dodge, dodge, attack. Dodge, 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 attack. And you have to get into that dance, and as soon as you lose that rhythm, you're dead. And he changes the rhythm up too on you. So overall, it was just a really fun fight, and I think the same thing happened to me with Morgot as it did with Morgot. I don't remember 100%, but I swear Morgot and I killed each other at the same time. And can you believe that it actually happened with Morgot, where it got so close, I slayed him, but he killed me. So we were literally going toe to toe and killed each other. But luckily I'm tarnished, so I came back to life. He didn't. And so the game let me progress. I'm so thankful for that. I'm like, oh my God, if I would have had to restart again, that would have been so demoralizing, because I was trying to land that last hit, and he killed me. So fun fight, but yeah, now I feel I've completed the first half of the story. I feel the story has pretty much said, great, you've reached the city, you've reached the Erd tree, you've set out on what you were supposed to do, but now you need to get inside the tree, and this means we have a whole new quest. And you know, my lady girl who shows up at the campfire, she too is like, oh, I thought you could have gone in, but now we gotta go to the forbidden place and create the first cardinal sin by burning the tree. I'm like, that's sounds like a big deal, but okay, I'm in, let's do it. And so now we got to go to some unknown place to get a very big fire from a mountaintop and bring it back and burn the tree. What could go wrong? I'm sure everything will be fine. A few other things I found in the city before we go off into the Forbidden Lands. So I found a place called the Fortified Manor, which is a complete replica of the Grand Order, the hub. And there were so many cool items in there. I'm just like, what does this mean? Why is there a replica of this area of the capital city? So now there's some threads happening. I was like, okay, there's some storytelling happening here, but I'm not understanding it, but maybe I will eventually. And then the chat went crazy to guide me to get this weapon called the Bolt of Grandsax. And I was like, guys, I don't use lance. Why do you want me to do this so much? And so I went through the trouble of getting the lance, and then I didn't even have enough faith or something, or I forget, arcane. I don't know what I was missing, but I couldn't even wield it. We had to like get a rune arc and all these things to actually buff my stats so I could. And then I'm poking. I'm like, it's a lance. I don't like poking. And they're like, push. L2. And then I like throw the lance and it just like goes across the screen, across the world. And I was like, oh, and then they're all like relieved that I actually got to see what they were talking about. So the Bolt of Grantsax is a freaking awesome range weapon. I don't know if I would use it as a melee weapon. I don't even know if I would use it as a range weapon because it's a heavy weapon and I can't use it with my other weapons. But cool to see that I have that ability, and if it comes in handy, maybe I'll try it. Maybe this is the key to fighting the two gargoyles. I don't know. Like the other gargoyle shows up, I'll just throw the spear of the Bolt of Grantsax at him and sack it. So now that I've got some new instructions, we're going into a new part of the world. So I went to the capital outskirts, which took me to the Forbidden Lands. And here I came across some weird bosses. Everything went dark and I fought some Fell Twins. Super strange boss. I have no idea why we have a random boss fight here. I don't know why everything's dark and why there's no music, but it was cool, it was fun, and it was super easy. I have my whips, and these big boys, again, the chunky boys, love the chunky boys, and they're coming in, and I'm just like, it was really weird, though. The AI didn't have them attack me together. There was only one attacking me aggressively, so I killed him, and then the other one finally showed up, and I'm like, okay, I'll kill you. So it wasn't much of a twin fight. It was more of me massacring a twin at a time. So now we've got these unknown regions called the Forbidden Lands ahead of us as one choice. I've still got the gargoyles in the aqueduct, which I will visit. And then there is Caelid, which I feel I've explored most of it, but I know that there's a dragon there. There's a dude who still wants me to bring him some rot, who's pretty sad because I haven't visited him in a while. He's like, no, we won't make that joke. I think that there's more to explore in Caelid that I may have missed there because I've been afraid of that place for so long. I've avoided it. There's that mage town that I completely did not explore. So we're going to have to go back there. Maybe Caelid is next on the menu, but I've also got a lot to do in the Forbidden Lands and to progress the story and see where that's going. So if you want to join me, hopefully you'll see me on stream, which is every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over on the Twitch channel. And otherwise, I will see you in the next journal. Until next time, keep it classy. Do, 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 do. Subscribe.